Imagine this. A billionaire in a MAGA hat steps into the White House alongside President Trump to launch a radical government overhaul. This isn't a movie set, it's the controversial debut of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, a plan aimed at slashing wasteful spending in federal agencies. Stay tuned as we unravel the bold vision that's shaking up American governance.
That's right, Alex. In a recent Oval Office address, Musk defended his role in what he describes as a necessary cost-cutting crusade against the federal government. According to Reuters, Musk declared, "It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country," emphasizing that the government must tighten its belt if the nation is to thrive economically. But while the rhetoric is dramatic, critics worry this isn't just about fiscal responsibility. It might also mean a dangerous consolidation of power.
Absolutely. Let's break it down. On one hand, Musk's appearance and his flamboyant presentation, complete with his son sometimes perched on his shoulder, suggests that he's using his celebrity and business acumen to make a case for massive bureaucratic reform. On the other hand, many observers see this as an unprecedented move. When President Trump appointed Musk as a special government employee to lead DOGE, it raised alarms on Capitol Hill, with some saying that giving an unelected billionaire such unchecked authority could upend the balance of power in Washington.
The initiative is framed as a way to identify waste, fraud, and abuse within the federal budget. Historically, similar efforts have been attempted. For instance, during the Reagan administration, the Grace Commission was established to root out inefficiencies, and in the 1990s, Clinton's National Performance Review sought to modernize government operations. Both efforts had mixed results, and they remind us that cutting red tape is never as simple as it sounds. Yet Musk and his colleague Vivek Ramaswamy have set a radically ambitious target. Some reports even hint at a goal of trimming up to $2 trillion in federal spending. Even if that figure is more a rallying cry than a realistic number, it underscores the intensity of their message.
That intensity is exactly what grabs people's attention. But there's more. In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, Musk and Ramaswamy argued that reducing federal waste could be achieved in part by forcing a return to traditional work habits. They claimed that ending remote work for federal employees, a benefit many enjoyed during the pandemic, will lead to mass voluntary resignations, thereby trimming the bloated workforce. While that idea might sound like bold business logic to some, union leaders and federal workers worry it could damage essential services and even spark litigation.
Exactly, Alex. Critics are quick to point out the inherent conflict of interest in this entire scheme. Musk's companies like Tesla, SpaceX, and even his social media platform X already benefit from government contracts and a favorable regulatory environment. So when he pushes for radical cost cuts in government spending, many question whether his personal financial interests are influencing these proposals. For example, AP News noted concerns that using presidential impoundment powers, essentially refusing to spend funds appropriated by Congress, could fly in the face of a 1974 law designed to prevent such overreach.
That's a huge red flag. And speaking of legal boundaries, some legal experts are warning that this could even spark a constitutional clash. When you have a billionaire advisor in the Oval Office proposing to unilaterally delete or drastically shrink entire federal agencies, questions about separation of powers and checks and balances inevitably arise. One law professor from Georgetown, David Vladek, told The Guardian that such a move might not even be legally permissible because only Congress can create or dismantle government departments.
And it doesn't stop at legal technicalities. Public sentiment is mixed. In Iowa, for example, some small business owners and local politicians have voiced support for the idea of slashing government waste, citing examples of inefficiency that resonate with many Americans who feel let down by the bureaucracy. At the same time, federal workers and unions are bracing for what they call a coup against the civil service. As one union leader put it in interviews with NPR, the proposed measures could decimate decades of public service expertise, leaving behind chaos in essential programs like Social Security, Medicare, and disaster relief agencies such as USAID.
This brings us to the broader question: what does all of this mean for the future of government efficiency in America? Historically, every major attempt to streamline government, from the Hoover Commission after World War II to Clinton's sweeping reforms has met with fierce resistance from entrenched interests and bureaucratic inertia. Musk's DOGE initiative, with its Silicon Valley mindset and a promise to use advanced technologies like artificial intelligence to analyze spending, may be innovative in theory, but as we've seen before, the devil is in the details.
Right. And while Musk paints a picture of a lean, modern government that is free of the bloated bureaucracy, the reality is much more complex. The federal workforce hasn't grown dramatically in terms of numbers when you include contractors, and many essential functions are protected by law. If the goal is to achieve efficiency without sacrificing service, then the reforms must be surgical rather than wholesale cuts. Some experts, like those at the Brookings Institution, warn that if cuts are too deep or made too hastily, they could undermine national security, social welfare, and economic stability.
So, where do we stand? On one side, we have a proposal that speaks to the frustration many Americans feel about government inefficiency, a call for radical change that, at least rhetorically, aims to return taxpayer dollars to the people. On the other, there are legitimate concerns about concentration of power, conflicts of interest, and the potential erosion of the very institutions that ensure accountability and stability in our government.
And that's the real takeaway. Whether you view DOGE as an overdue wake-up call or as a dangerous power grab, it's clear that the debate over government efficiency is far from over. History tells us that every attempt at reform carries risks, and the true challenge will be balancing fiscal responsibility with the need to maintain robust public services that Americans rely on every day.
In the coming months, we'll likely see more legal challenges, more debates on Capitol Hill, and, of course, more commentary from both supporters and detractors. It's a story that sits at the intersection of politics, economics, and technology, and it forces us to ask, how much efficiency is too much? And at what point do cost-cutting measures begin to compromise the common good?
That's the question we'll be following closely. For now, all we can say is that Elon Musk's Oval Office appearance wasn't just a media spectacle. It was a bold statement about the future of government, for better or for worse. And as always, we encourage you to think critically about the trade-offs involved in any major reform.
Thanks for tuning in to Inside the Efficiency Revolution. We hope today's discussion has given you a clearer picture of the stakes involved in this high-profile power play. Be sure to subscribe for more in-depth analysis and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you see DOGE as a revolutionary step forward or a risky gamble with our nation's future? Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.
Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for listening.